Hey guys, we're live. It's Ted Bogert with The Ted Show. I'm excited to have Fred Griffin Jr. here today. He's here to talk about touching hearts, share his journey. I love to meet people on new platforms, and I think we met mainly on LinkedIn, if I'm not mistaken. Although you have a nice Instagram presence too. But welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about you while I make sure all the working parts are moving.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And far more important, thank you, Ted, for allowing me to be here on the show as well. What a great opportunity. Yes, we did connect with each other on LinkedIn. And if I may, you had posted something that really caught my attention. I always look at your shows and go back and recap
That's
some
kind.
things. But you had said something by grabbing the horn by the, grabbing the bull by the horn.
Yes.
And yes, about your journey. And I can relate so much. And that's prompted me to reach out to you and was like, okay, let me share some words of encouragement and let them know that you're not in it alone. Give a little background on myself. I'm owner of Touching Hearts Group Homes, which is a residential facility for disabled individuals. And we also have a school, which is adult day training program, where we equip them to be prepared for working in a setting day to day, like you and I go to work, know how to use public transportation, and etc. So that is our main focus with touching hearts. However, with that same aspect, we also go into different vendors and help volunteer, such as the animal shelter we like to go and do because they love pets. We
Right.
also like to volunteer with the food drives that we have here in Lake County. So we're very involved in the community in the county and also through the state of Florida.
How did someone so young get involved in group homes in this particular industry? Because it's tough. It's a tough one. It's rewarding, but it's tough. What was your journey to there?
I always had a passion to encourage people, uplift people. So that was a no-brainer for me. But going back when I was fresh out of high school and didn't finish up with college, I decided that okay, I would love to be a business owner, but didn't know what. I do have a degree in my in culinary arts, but after a while, it's like I don't want to do that. It was very tiring, and I was like, it has to be something else out there. Well, needless to say, someone contacted me and say, I think you'll be great working with individuals um, with disabilities. And I was like, I never thought of it that way. So I jumped into the field, which was one of the biggest facilities here in the state of Florida. I worked with them as the youngest administrator for 8 years. And that's what prompted me to have the passion and drive that I have for this industry.
So it's one thing having your own or working for somebody, but then it's a different thing having your own. So what was that transition like? Since we're all about small business here, talk to them a little bit about what it was like to go from working for somebody to being the big boss.
A big transition. A lot of people look at it from the aspect of, oh, I get to be my own boss. I have all this free time. No. And one thing that I have learned during this pandemic is you spend more time trying to strategize on what the game plan is regarding an outbreak. And you don't sit there and realize the things that you need to put in place until things happen. You can put it on paper, but it don't come together until something happen and be like, wait a minute, I need to change this. I need to do that.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I was not prepared for coming into the realization of being an entrepreneur. The taxes, the employees, the customers, all that compared to working a 9 to 5, getting a check, pay the bills, and keep it moving.
It's totally different, isn't it?
Totally different.
So talk about the group home itself. How many residents do you have? Give them a little background.
Well, with the group home, we have 5 residents. They are all grown adults, males, and they, like I said, we're located here in Lake County area, and we basically just go on our day-to-day activities of basically setting up an area or a general concept of what they want to do. We don't base our day because of something that we want to do. We base it upon what they want to do. So if they decide that they want to go to the movies, go shopping, go out to eat, that's what we're going to do for that day. If they decide that they just want to stay around the house and do a whole lot of nothing, that's what we're going to do for that day. So we give that opportunity for them as the customer to set the tone for their life and for that particular day.
And are they able to? Are they all of the residents? Are they able to work? Because you mentioned that you do some charity work, so you go out into the community and help other organizations and do things. Are they also able to be employed?
Yes, they are able to be employed. We have had several that's been employed due to various reasons. They are not employed at this particular moment. However, we still try to keep them moving, just like if they were going on a 9 to 5, which is the consist of our adult day training program, which they go Monday through Friday if they choose from 9 to 3. And we put into perspective where we do like little activities with them where they can earn uh, payroll incentives. They earn different reinforcements that they like. Some of them like soda. Some of them don't want monetary.
Right,
Some of them like to go to the local McDonald's just to get lunch for that particular day. So we try to keep them busy in some type of aspect where they are able to be rewarded and not just to feel like they're doing everything for free. And since the pandemic has happened, it's been very difficult for us to get them employed at this particular moment because a lot of people are laying off or they have furloughed.
right.
So this is our way just to say, okay, well, just come on our books, do your time sheet. Let's find you things to do, whether it's vacuuming, dusting. Let's go out and do some gardening work. We try to keep them busy as much as possible and let them know that it is okay. Not only are you experiencing, we're experiencing, but we're going to get through it.
Right. Are there families involved?
Yes, families are very involved, and that's very critical in this industry. And that I love when you have a family that's very involved, because sometimes you have the weight on your shoulder, not only running an operation every day, but then you have to make sure that the health, safety, and welfare is your number one goal.
Right.
So that kind of takes the pressure off when you know that they're very involved when it comes to their planning, knowing that they have the best, in life.
How, what's your plan for more, you want growth, you want, what's this journey look like? Because you're young in business, you're young anyway. And that's a good thing in this business, because that particular business can be very taxing and trying, which we talked about, but it's so rewarding. What's your long-term goal?
Well, the long term goal is to continue to open more settings for consumers that will be able to come in and work. My ideal plan that I have wrote down over the last couple of years is to open up a small ice cream and or Jeremiah type. I'm a big Jeremiah fan. And I want to set up a setting where they're able to come in and work like you and I, and knowing that they're comfortable and not being judged by others that's out in the community that don't feel that they should be in that setting. Not every employer are like that when it comes to our population of them going out to work, but you do have times where they're looked uh, at a different angle. A lot of people frown up at them, and I want them to feel comfortable wherever they go and work at. And I think that long-term goal of me setting up an environment continuance will help them know that everything is going to be okay, and that what the pandemic that we have going on now, that they will not be furloughed and or fired. That's one of the key opponents that I wrote down in that policy and procedure that I'm trying to connect with different investors to know that not the revenue will not be lost, and that we will still find some type of strategy grants that's out there to keep them around and know that everything is going to be okay. That's the key part. One of the consumers told me the other day, everything's going to be okay, Mr. Fred.
That's
So I've been
nice.
using that as my logo and my slogan lately. Everything's going to be okay.
Things gonna be all right. So tell me what you're doing. I ask every guest this. What are you doing to keep yourself busy personally, not business wise, but keep your attitude positive? Be still be creative.
Well, the one thing that I have learned by being home, I've been working from home for the last 2 months due to my previous medical condition, which I'm going to share in a little bit as well, if I may.
I wish you would,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. Uh, I've been being home with my family, my wife and kids. They have been motivating me to do things and be creative outside of the box, especially having a 4-year-old and a teenager. We've been doing things that we would not normally do on a daily because I'm always on the move and my teen is always involved in different activities. So it really gave us that breather just to relax. Okay, let's regroup. Let's go back to the basics. So that's really been helping my mind to stay occupied and learn how to turn off the computer. Um, excuse me, when a 4-year-old likes to come and say, "Hey, let's play a game," and I'm in the middle of working on a project, I have learned just to say, "Okay, well, the project is still going to be there. Let me
Right.
give her my attention, and then we can move on back to that project." Uh, so that's been my aspect of trying to wind down and continue to move on with this pandemic.
So tell us about your journey. I didn't want to, if you were wanted to share it, great. I wasn't going to push it. So tell them about your journey since you opened that up. I think it's an awesome story for you to share. So thank you.
Yes. Back on March the 15th, which is my birthday, or my 32nd birthday, I was diagnosed with cancer. At that time, I had no idea. Previous, I had went to an orthopedist, and they said, "Hey, we need to send you over to the cancer specialist." And I'm like, "What do you mean, send me over to the cancer specialist?" Never had any medical history, maybe a headache here and there, but nothing too severe of this. And went to follow up with the appointments that he scheduled for me, and that's when he dropped the bombshell and said it was stage 4, and it was
Wow.
lymphoma, and it had traveled at that time from my stomach, oh excuse me, from my back to my stomach, from my stomach to my brain, just like that, and I had no idea.
Wow.
Remind you now, that was a happy birthday for your 32nd birthday.
Right.
And my wife was like, "Well, do you want to do things?" And I'm like, "Okay, we can still do it." But I didn't want her to know that in my mind I was panicking because we was trying to find a way of, okay, what's next? What
Right.
do we do next? So what we end up doing is going down different avenues and saying, okay, well, let's try holistic. Okay, well, let's see what the chemo would do. I did not have to take radiation. However, chemo was the biggest challenge for me because at that time I was losing weight because of the cancer.
Right.
And when I was finally going under treatment, with my first treatment was actually April the 21st of 2019 was my first treatment. And at that time, I only weighed 123 pounds. I went from 175 pounds to 123 pounds just
Wow.
that fast. So they was very scared on how we're going to treat this, because one of the things that they tell you when you're doing chemo, that you should be a solid weight, because you're going to lose your appetite. Of course, you're going to lose your hair. You're going to lose some of these things that you use on a daily. My mobility, never had any problems with walking or running. Now I have neuropathy in my left leg because of the nerve damage.
Right.
So a lot of this took a factor. But on the brighter side of all this, I knew that I was going to come out strong. My faith was one of the biggest opponent that came with this journey. And with Advent Health, if you know Advent, they stand on their motto. They're very concerning, very compassionate, and they were there every single step of the way. I
That's
mean, I
awesome.
could have not asked for a better journey. Now that I look back on it, I sit and I share much as I can, because I don't want people to look at it that I experienced, but I was more concerned about my wife and kids. I was
Sure.
concerned about me.
What's your diagnosis now?
Well, by the grace of God, I did my last treatment of October of 2019. I still go in and I do get checkups, and that was another thing, especially being an African American male. It was always stay away from the doctor. You don't want to get checked, because it was the what ifs. And that was one of the things that I said moving forward, that I will always go back and get checked up, no matter if I have a cough or don't feel as well, still go and get checked up. And like I said, I go on a regular, every 3 months. I go in to get checked in and make sure that everything is still functioning and all that good stuff. I have changed my eating regimens as well, because that played a big part. Um, and that's where I'm at now, and I'm just
Wow.
so grateful to know that it is well, and to encourage anyone that may be facing it, or have the possibility or know someone that is going to face it, that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
I love it. I love that you share that because I think people want that encouragement. They want to know that somebody can come back from stage four, because there's a lot of negative news out there when it comes to cancer. So it's great to see a young survivor for
Yeah.
sure. What a blessing that is. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So how do people reach you, Fred? What's the best way for people to get to you, to get to Touching Hearts? What's the best way for them to get involved?
Well, you can contact me. I have Instagram, which is my at name is Fred Griffin Jr. is my Instagram. My LinkedIn name is my name as well, Fred Griffin Jr. And I also have a Facebook, which is under Touching Hearts. You can find me on Facebook as well. My website is strolling down on the bottom, which is touchingheartsllc.org. And I also do consulting. I help new business owners. I write grants. I'm a life coach. I mean, I'm all around typical guy. And you can reach me on them different platforms, and I'll be sure to reach back to you as soon as I can. If not, then I will make sure my assistant will get back with you with any questions or concerns that you may have.
Fantastic. All right, Touching Hearts, Fred Griffin Jr. Thank you so much for sharing your story, buddy. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you reaching out to me when you saw my post. And so, we all got to stick together, and it's great to have somebody who's been through it and listen to how you got through it. And I'm just 1,000% convinced that attitude and, for me, faith are everything. So,
Absolutely.
thank you again, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, you guys reach out to Fred Griffin Jr. and take a look at Touching Hearts. It's a phenomenal program. I want to see more growth for you, and I want to see your residents get as much as they want out of life. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on the show, my friend.
No, thank you. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Pleasure, pleasure. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
All right. See you.
Bye.